Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming to the Security Spotlight here at Next. It's actually getting bigger each year, so we're super excited to be here. So I'll get right into it. Cybersecurity is top of mind for all of us, our customers, our partners, but also here at Google. We bring a security mindset to everything we do in terms of building from the infrastructure layer to the platform layer to the product layer for consumer and enterprise. And for the last several years, we've been building innovative cybersecurity products to help defenders, right? So in our spotlight today, you're going to be hearing about the latest threat insights, learning about what we're seeing on the front lines, how we're unifying our product portfolio, and finally, you're also going to see how we're using agentic AI to drive the next wave of innovation. So let's get into it. The cybersecurity landscape, unfortunately, is increasing in complexity and dynamism. It's increasingly defined by sophisticated threat actors using AI, both nation-state and criminal actors, a rapidly changing geopolitical and regulatory landscape seems to be changing every day, and the introduction of new powerful technologies like generative AI and agentic AI. And really, these technologies are going to redefine cybersecurity as we know them. So what hasn't changed is that expertise and deep knowledge of the adversary is critical. And this led to the acquisition of Mandiant by Google back in 2022, which is where I came from. What Mandiant brings to the table is frontline expertise and intelligence from thousands of hours of our consultants working engagements. And we bring that together with Google's view on the threats targeting its infrastructure and users. And we infuse that into our products that we build. And that is a key way we are differentiating for and with our customers and bring value to our customers. So given that, we felt it was important to start today talking about the threats targeting us in the world today. And so for that, I'm very happy to bring out one of the world-renowned experts on cyber threat intelligence, Sandra Joyce. Sandra.
Thanks, Peter. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Joyce, Vice President of Google Threat Intelligence. And our group's mission is to defend Google, its users, and customers. And we do this by building a comprehensive threat picture. And we draw on insights from Mandiant Intelligence, Google Threat Analysis Group, in order to disrupt adversaries. So I want to cover a few key themes here from our recent engagements and research so that you can assess how these impact your organization's security efforts. So first and foremost, we're really seeing how threat actors are leveraging what we call the visibility gap. So actors know where defenders have blind spots, and they target those areas relentlessly. That's why threats are going after devices that rarely support things like endpoint detection and response deployments, EDR. This includes areas such as firewalls, emails, gateways, virtualization platforms, VPN solutions. And Google Threat Intelligence recently observed this in action, identifying the exploitation of an Avanti VPN zero-day in December. That was one of 75 zero-days that we observed in the wild last year. And when we zoom out, we see that zero-day exploits are actually trending up, with a significant uptick in 2021, right around the COVID era. We also see that zero-day exploits are impacting a wide range of technologies, including security appliances, VPNs, software, and mobile devices. This means security leaders need to consider the impact of zero days across their entire technology stack. We've observed threat actors experimenting with AI also, finding productivity gains, but not yet developing novel capabilities. Google identified advanced persistent threat groups from more than 20 countries who've been accessing our public Gemini AI services. Threat actors use Gemini to support several phases of the attack lifecycle. So this includes performing reconnaissance on target organizations, researching vulnerabilities, seeking assistance with malicious scripting, as well as these other sort of evasion techniques. And threat actors also use Gemini to generate malicious content. So this includes developing personas and messaging, finding ways to increase their reach to victims, and translating and localizing their content. The good news is that Gemini's guardrails work to prevent novel capabilities from being developed. From another corner of the globe, we continue to track North Korean IT workers attempting to embed themselves in companies around the world. These individuals seek employment across various sectors under the guise of legitimate remote work, often using stolen or fabricated identities. And once they're hired, they use this access within an organization to generate revenue and conduct cyber espionage for the North Korean regime. These IT workers are expanding their operations around the globe, and they've started to actually conduct extortion operations from within the organizations. So we've observed this overlap between the IT workers and known North Korean cyber espionage groups as well. And finally, cybercrime has transcended its criminal origins to become a real critical national security threat. In 2024, Mandiant Consulting responded to almost 4 times as many intrusions that were conducted by financially motivated threat actors over state-based actors. And ransomware poses a standalone threat to critical and national infrastructure in healthcare. So nation-states have mobilized cyber criminal communities for strategic gains, including purchasing tools from cyber criminal marketplaces, using cyber criminal groups to conduct operations as well. We've also seen states hire or co-opt financially motivated attacks to conduct espionage and attack missions on their behalf. So insights like these help us to protect Google and customers around the world. And by understanding these insights, you can adopt a more proactive security posture. So I encourage you to learn more about these trends and other things that might impact your organization on our Google Threat Intelligence blog, where we are constantly sharing new insights that you can use. So now let me turn it back to Peter to tell you how Google's security capabilities can help address these challenges.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew. Cool. So what do these trends reveal about the capabilities cyber defenders need in today's threat environment? First, while it's great to have a world-renowned expert like Sandra here today to tell us about threats that are impacting us or might be impacting us, it's critical to have up-to-date threat intelligence so you have ongoing situational awareness of the threat actors and where you might be exposed. Next, to close gaps that attackers might be exploiting, you need visibility. And that means all of your security data normalized, indexed, enriched at scale for fast search and detection across all your surfaces, network, SaaS, endpoint, OT, everything. So building on that, you need integrated, optimized workflows for the full TDIR workflow, right? Threat detection, investigation, and response at speed, increasingly using AI, by the way. And critically, the actions in the SOC need to be prioritized based upon context, threat intel, so you can make sure you're looking at the most important things and finding things before attackers can do real damage. Next, you might need to also address the growth of your attack surface, to cloud as an example, where you're going to need to think about managing your posture, right? Secure by default postures for your workloads and your data. And now also for your AI workloads, which are going to require their own security as well. And then to address insider risks like North Korean IT workers, you need stronger visibility and control over end-user activity and access, purpose-built for today's modern worker. You also need access to expertise to support and stress test your program, cyber resilience, red teaming, pen testing, and of course, expertise during and after an incident. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, increasingly, we need to be investing in AI. AI to improve your cyber defense program, to improve that TDIR workflow we talked about, and importantly also to prepare for the fact that attackers are increasingly going to be using AI against us. So that's a lot of stuff, right? That's a lot of things to be thinking about. We believe cybersecurity is a team sport, and so we're here to do this together with you. And so bringing all of that together is really why we are introducing Google Unified Security. So Google Unified Security, or GUS for short, brings together what we are best at: scale and analytics at planet scale, right? Search capabilities at scale. And then infusing that into security use cases, so threat intelligence, security operations, cloud security, AI security, the most trusted browser, and of course, managed expertise. in one converged solution, also powered by Gemini, and of course, running on Google's planet-scale infrastructure. In bringing these products and solutions together, Gus integrates all of your first-party and third-party data. So just to be clear, first-party, our products, third-party, the entire ecosystem. We want to make that super easy to integrate so that we can create a robust security data fabric. And that data fabric is what we use for visibility, searchability, and ultimately also for AI. We automatically enrich all that data with Google Threat Intel and other enrichment, context engine graph, things like this, driving better prioritization and identifying gaps. We've also integrated in our security validation capabilities, so you can actually proactively test if your detections are firing, and are they catching the thing you're trying to catch. We're unifying workflows across the classic SecOps and security and cloud security environments, so across cloud, SaaS, on-prem, so you can optimize your security workflows. And also, importantly, it allows you to inject Mandiant expertise, threat hunters, and consultants in the environment, in the SecOps environment, when you need them the most. So importantly, as I sort of said before, Gus is not a proprietary platform, but intended to be a very open platform. So we work with the entire ecosystem. We want to make that super easy to integrate in. And importantly, also, that helps you also integrate with your existing security investments to preserve those investments. Also super important. So let me show you a few examples of the power of Gus in action. So today, as an example, you have cloud security teams working in a tool like SCC, a CNAP, addressing misconfigs or vulns and top issues across your cloud estate. At the same time, you have the SOC worker working in a different environment like SecOps, using their own tools, reviewing alerts, performing investigations, the TDIR workflow we talked about. But most often today, those workflows are still completely different, right? And they're going to start coming together. We want to enable that. And so we want to enable the CISO and team to get a rolling view of what's going well and what isn't across their environment, so they can immediately see what's being addressed and how that affects their risk posture and the priority issues that their teams need to be focusing on right now. It couples this full picture with up-to-the-minute threat insights to further sharpen prioritization. But Gus is more than just monitoring. It brings together core workflows of security teams who need to collaborate for better outcomes. With Gus, your teams can search across all of your data, automatically enriched with the latest frontline intel in one investigation-centric view. Find issues that exist across your surfaces from code to production. Remediate issues wherever they exist, cloud or on-prem, using streamlined workflows and playbooks. And of course, use Gemini for automation to reduce toil and increase efficiency. As you can see from this brief walkthrough, Google Unified Security is delivering product convergence that will enable you to secure your organization, we believe, like never before, at scale, in the cloud, on-prem, anywhere you operate. So now let's hear from an organization that is transforming their security program from our solutions. And so for that, I'd like to welcome Matt Rowe, Chief Security Officer from Lloyd's Banking Group.
Thank you, Peter. So I'm Matt Rowe from Lloyd's Banking Group, and everything that Peter and Sandra have talked about reminds us that it is a tremendously exciting time to be in cybersecurity. And everything we do in terms of the work of security has to change. So I'm going to spend some time talking about why and how. For context, Lloyd's Banking Group is the biggest digital bank in the UK. We're systemically important, and therefore the stakes for us in terms of protecting this organization every day are really high. It's systemic to the UK economy and therefore UK society. And we're making moves. We're growing, we're modernizing our tech and our ways of working, and our intent is to become the biggest fintech in the UK. So what's the main characteristic of a fintech? It's pace, velocity, in order that we can get products and propositions into our customers' hands and win against the competition by beating them on pace. And therefore, in security, we're concerned with safe velocity. Our job, if the organization needs to go faster, is to enable it to safely go faster. Enabling the business and protecting the business, they're two sides of the same coin. It's an and statement. And we have to raise the bar, we have to think bigger and solve the harder problem to ensure we can have pace and security, not one or the other. And then when we add in everything that Sandra has talked about in terms of the geopolitical volatility that we face in the world today, already this year we have seen the volume and sophistication of threat go to the next level again, including a lot of nation-state threat being seen across our ecosystem. Artificial intelligence, obviously, it gives attackers a massive opportunity to increase the efficiency, the effectiveness, and the pace of the attacks that they prosecute. But I really believe that defenders have an advantage when it comes to leveraging AI. It allows us to defend our organizations in innovative ways and really to get in front of the attacker. If you add in the business need for velocity, you add in geopolitical volatility, and then you add in artificial intelligence, defenders and attackers today are in an arms race for pace, and it's one that we have to win. So how do we do that? At Lloyds Banking Group, we are building out our next generation security operations center on Google SecOps. Our vision is that we need to be a leading security organization, world-class, in order to stay in front of the threats that we expect to develop over the period ahead. And we do this by ensuring that our analysts, our engineers, are working on high-fidelity, true positive only. We need to move away from the paradigm where our analysts in a classic SOC are crushed by busy work, investigating low-fidelity true positives, going through a lot of work to get to a dead end, oftentimes not pertaining to malicious activity. Our people need to be working on high-fidelity true positives only, and then with an engineering mindset, threat hunting and converting that into an even more sophisticated detection capability. So this does require an engineering mindset, and we're bought into the Google concept of continuous detection, continuous response. We move the time up the value chain, we've taken away the busy work, we've automated and leveraged AI such that our people are spending their time, their human brilliance, on understanding the most sophisticated threats, defining custom analytics that pertain to high-fidelity true positives, and then the same team sees the results of those alarms. So if they do give us a low-fidelity alarm, we don't stop there. We go back and improve it in this continuous feedback loop. And when we think about how our people are spending their time in this way, actually we see a much smaller proportion of that time being on response. So like I said, we need people to either be threat hunting or in incident response, and therefore we're either hunting for the bad guys or in a fight with the bad guys. And what does that mean? We unlock time. And what do we do with that unlocked time? We believe the next phase of really progressive cybersecurity is the convergence of pre-breach and post-breach. So the same people who are doing the threat hunting, who are defining the most sophisticated analytics and doing the incident response, those same people understand the attack paths that exist in our environment and then take steps to interdict them with a preventative control or a detective control. And that convergence of pre-breach and post-breach, that really requires us to give our engineers the right tools. So we're tremendously excited about the Google Unified Security proposition. We do a good job of this, and we allow the organization to have safe velocity. Accelerated security is our way of talking about how we are worrying about security so the organization doesn't need to. And going back to where I started, this is a moment in time where it's tremendously exciting to be in cybersecurity, but we have to change how we work. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand back to Peter.
Cool, perfect. Thanks, Matt. I just want to comment on something he said about sort of the pre-breach and post-breach, bringing those together and thinking about how you create content like you would in an approach breach environment to build your detection pipelines. And that's just 100% aligned with how we're also building out our product and our content. So super cool to hear that from Matt. So thank you, Matt. And you know, and that journey that they're going through aligns with the journey of lots of our customers going through modernization and transformation. So, we think Google Unified Security is the best way to partner with Google for security, obviously. But you can continue to use and buy individual products from us as well. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the updates and capabilities that we have across our portfolio. So first, with Google Security Operations, otherwise known as SecOps, it's our platform encompassing security data and analytics at scale with a powerful, streamlined TDIR workflow. We're seeing tremendous momentum, with global companies across, Lloyd's, Charles Schwab, Veritiv, and others, and many others who have made the move to SecOps. So data and visibility is really critical. We talked about that before. And so one of the ways companies are now doing a better job of this is using data pipeline management. So with data pipeline management, we are now building that into Google SecOps with our partnership through BindPlane. And so you can literally transform and prepare data for downstream use, route data to different destinations and multiple tenants to manage scale, filter data to control volume, and redact sensitive data for compliance. Really important capabilities. In addition, our new Mandiant threat defense offering is a service that we're now injecting into Google SecOps. So what does that mean? When you use the service, Mandiant experts can be working alongside your teams in your SecOps environment, augmenting your team, whether that's for threat hunting, helping create content, investigations, closing cases, et cetera, and also working with SOAR playbooks for remediation. So very exciting to be able to inject that Mandiant expertise alongside your team through Mandiant Threat Defense. We also continue to build extensively on what we've already done with AI for assistive and guided experiences, now with agentic solutions. And I'm not going to steal Steph's thunder. She's coming out in a little bit to talk about that. But we're really excited to talk about our agentic strategy. So before we do, though, quickly on Security Command Center, which we also call SCC. SCC is the best way to secure GCP. Okay? It is the must-have cloud risk management solution for Google Cloud. And it's been adopted by thousands of customers, including Yahoo, Ericsson, and Snap, and you can hear more about them at SCC, at the breakouts at the Security Hub. Customers depend on SCC to protect their Google Cloud assets, in part because it uses continual virtual red teaming, and so really active red teaming to look at where risks are occurring so you can manage those risks. Security Command Center also recently introduced AI protection for Google Cloud, which is really important because we're seeing just this dramatic Cambrian explosion of use cases of AI, and so we've got to be able to protect this, obviously. And so AI protection can help you discover AI inventory, secure AI models and data, and detect, investigate, and respond to attacks against your AI systems. Super important, right? Model Armor, also part of AI protection, allows you to apply content safety security controls to prompts and responses, so effectively guardrails, right? It works for a broad range of models, so you can get consistent protection for the models and AI platforms you want to use, even if that changes in the future. Model Armor is now integrated directly into Vertex AI, and so developers can automatically route prompts and responses for protection without making any changes to their application. Finally, a new compliance manager is going to be available very soon in SCC, and it brings together policy definition, control configuration, enforcement, monitoring, and audit into a unified workflow. And this is another thing you're going to see more from us, is trying to unify these workflows and streamline workflows, and this is a great example of that. Separately, we're also expanding our risk protection program, which provides discounted cyber insurance based upon your cloud posture. And so we've now partnered with Beasley and Chubb, two of the world's largest cyber insurers, as new program partners. And here at Next, we have many other product updates for Google Cloud Platform Security as an example, identity and access management, data security, network security. And so please be sure to go hit the breakouts if those are of interest, or go see us at the Security Hub where those are being demoed, et cetera. Okay. So the biggest leaps in functionality and the things we are most excited about are really around agentic AI. We have been investing in AI, obviously, as a company for a very long time, and we're the leader, the first to really inject it into security use cases back 2 years ago now. In generative AI specifically, just to be clear. The application of generative AI to the security domain is causing most organizations to rethink their tooling strategy, as well as even their organizational strategy. It is literally going to redefine how we do security operations. We believe that a very high percentage, 80% plus of the jobs within the security operation are going to get largely automated over the next few years. And so that represents a huge opportunity for us all. And so without stealing any more thunder, I'm going to now bring on Steph Hay, who is our Gemini and user design, user experience guru, to tell us more. Steph. Go get it.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Thank you. How's everybody feeling? This side of the house is feeling great. How about this side of the house? You're like, yeah, we're okay. Okay, there we go. Good. Hi, everybody. So if you've been to these security spotlights over the last couple of years, you've probably been hearing us already talk about our AI journey. And our first step has largely been driving a shift from manual to AI-assisted workflows, where humans still initiate and drive their work, but they get a boost from AI, generally in the form of summaries, recommendations, the things that LLMs are really good at. But now we're taking the next big step to agentic workflows with a human in the loop, which is what we call semi-autonomous AI. And this is really a transformative moment. Pretty excited about it. Our goal is to offload tasks from humans to AI and free really those specialized practitioners to focus on the novel and complex issues they probably get out of bed every day to tackle. They say, we really love the mission. We get excited about the mission. We want the tools to help us achieve that mission. OK, so we're only stopping, by the way, at semi-autonomy for now because security is so critical to get right. That's why we want, likely for a very long time to come, to have a human in the loop to maintain control over this new technology. But the assistive capabilities that we've released to date are already having some pretty exponential impacts. They're having great impact on what we've been lovingly referring to as the 3 T's, threats, toil, and talent. These are evergreen challenges in the security industry. But we think and are showing the green shoots of that AI would be able to improve the 3 T's here. To be able to use LLMs to explain threats earlier, to reduce the toil of having to navigate across a whole bunch of disparate workflows, to understand metadata, et cetera, to be able to translate that into human readable summaries. That reduces the toil. And to really, all of this sort of adds up to up-level the talent. To do things that LLMs are really great at doing, like, again, translating those natural language queries into specialized syntax, summarizing metadata on a case, use things LLMs are good at. OK, so we've been addressing these 3 T's over the past couple years with Gemini and security, and we continue to release new assistive capabilities like this one. This is Gemini and Security Command Center, and this is for hardening your Google Cloud environment. So now you can ask Gemini to generate a baseline secure by default org policy for your unique environment. And that means your cloud security teams don't have to toil through creating custom hardening policies, which is generally something that takes a lot of time to do and an understanding of the entire environment. That's the sort of thing that we're trying to bring this assistive technology to bear to enable the customer to have to do less toil and really and arrive at a more secure state. That's their goal. OK. But now imagine if we combine this assistive technology with semi-autonomous agents trained to carry out common jobs to be done in the security lifecycle, like detection engineering, or having to create playbooks, or analyzing code, reverse engineering. I mean, this is where we're going. And so that's why I'm super psyched to share our first Gemini and security agents in Google SecOps and Google Threat Intelligence. So, wait, was that a clap? Yeah! Thank you. Yeah, don't let me talk through that. That was great. OK, thank you. That was not a plant either. OK, so first up, we're going to look at our SecOps agents here, new alert triage agent. This is designed to continuously analyze alerts, decide which of those alerts actually need human attention. This is, again, sort of keeping the human in the loop, and then automatically respond to the rest. And this is all directly in the existing investigation workflow, which we can see here starting in alerts. So what I'll show you next is a demo that our product manager, Wendy, put together last week. This is going to illustrate one of the hundreds of alerts our agent triaged. And what you'll see is that our agent already triaged this alert here while the human was hopefully at home, having dinner or sleeping or doing any other thing. The agent found this alert to be of high severity, and it's going to recommend some actions to do next. But what's more, this agent is trained by our Mandiant analysts. And they have decades of experience identifying and responding to threats. And we see the investigation entirely here displayed. It goes quickly. And this is part of the sort of transition to having agents in our workflows now, is that the agent is going to do this investigation very quickly. So let's take a look. What you're going to see first is the agentic experience here is infused, as I said already, existing tooling. So as Wendy's reviewing the agent's investigation here on the right in the Gemini window, and she's going to go ahead and make it a little bit wider so that we can see that there's a timeline view, there are insights that have come out of why this was rendered as a high risk alert. This is all the stuff that any human analyst might do. All of this is directly in the workflow. So I can see the sources, I can see the investigation history for the user to access all directly in the view here, and that is including all the annotations, full visibility into the additional queries that the agent ran, essentially all of the evidence that this agent gathered that led to this decision on the risk level, and ultimately the suggested next steps as well. And this timeline view is always available, just as any great audit log should be. This timeline view, there's a few different views that we're playing around with. This is the expanded view here. And then ultimately, Gemini is summarizing the next investigation steps that should, if you want to continue doing an investigation on this. And this is the kind of thing that we're pretty excited about. You do hundreds of these while you're like walking into the office. This is the kind of work that the agent is able to do. It's saving the analyst hours of time. The analyst doesn't have to learn new tools. It's all directly infused in the existing SecOps experience. So we feel pretty excited about that, but we want you to be more excited about that. And I hope you go over. Wendy is working in the booth, so you can go talk to Wendy and check this out for yourself. We're hoping this in preview in Q2, which is pretty exciting. So that's the first one. Next, in Google Threat Intelligence, we have a new malware analysis agent. And this is specially designed to extract the code from any file we upload, and identify malicious behaviors such as obfuscation, which is a common tactic used by malware authors to hide their code's true purpose. So what I'm going to show you is another demo. This one is by Bernardo. Bernardo is our VirusTotal co-founder, and he's our chief engineer for this agent, among many other innovations. And what Bernardo is going to do is start a conversation with Gemini about a suspicious file he wants to have analyzed. And Gemini will do two things, as we'll see here. Number one, Gemini is going to prompt Bernardo to upload the file in question. That's what he's doing. And then number two, Gemini is going to go ahead and call in the analyst. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Or maybe the video is just going to pause right there and not do it. There we go. OK. So let's take a look here. Bingo bango, by the way, the agent is already off and running. So that's what I mean. It's going already. So in this example, the agent is determining the file's hash is unknown. The agent is automatically stringing together several actions. Number one, initiating a private scan. It's leveraging both static and dynamic analysis. It's calculating the file's unique hash, identifying the document type. Number two, it's checking against Google's huge corpus of threat intelligence. Number three, it's even generating a plan to de-obfuscate the code, which involves generating and running its own Python script. And number four, it's actually decoding the heavily obfuscated PowerShell command. And the end result is all shown right here. This is revealing the malware's true intent. It's all described right in front of us here, which is to download a file from a remote server, establish a reverse shell, giving the attacker control over the compromised system, which is a super yikes moment. But all along the way, Gemini has provided visibility into the agent's thinking here along the way, generated a comprehensive summary, as you can see, and also this concise verdict that we've got right now. So your security team can respond quickly, which is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. Yeah! waited for that one. Thank you. Thank you. OK. By the way, this new agentic experience is the first realization in product of what we shared around this time last year. So if you were here last year, we had an early research experiment that yielded an impressive reverse engineering result. We were pretty excited about of the infamous WannaCry file. So that early experiment here, I identified the kill switch for that WannaCry file in 34 seconds, which is something that humans took 7 hours to do, which is super fast, but 34 seconds is faster. And we think that this is the kind of potential it's going to just make the exponential improvements for security outcomes with AI. So we're pretty excited about that. So as these agents join our security teams, that's what they're effectively doing, we're going to measure the impact they have using the same metrics that teams run on today, and to see the improvements across the board on things like reducing our exposure, reducing our time to detect. And this future state AI, this is enabling teams to have better impacts, which is what they're getting out of bed to do every single day. So we're pretty excited about that. But like I said, if you'd like to see more, you definitely need to check out the Google SecOps and Threat Intelligence and Security Command Center breakouts as well. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Peter. Thank you.
Maybe just a couple of editorial comments on that. So obviously, we are super excited about this future. These are the first expert agents we're introducing. There are many more coming. We also have partners and customers that are today dumping data into BigQuery and using agent space to develop their own agents and query that data too. So there's a lot of opportunity to get involved now, and we're really excited for all of you too as well. So at the end of the day, we see this as just a transformational way to run the TDIR pipeline far faster with far better outcomes. And so we're leaning super hard forward here and really excited to keep chasing this. So, okay, so let's cover a few more portfolio updates. Last time we were here at Next, we introduced Chrome Enterprise Premium as part of our security portfolio. Since then, it's become clear that secure enterprise browsing is becoming a must-have capability to protect the modern ways of working, unmanaged devices, et cetera. We think the best enterprise browser is the one that your employees already use, and that's largely speaking Chrome. And so we're really excited to be leaning forward also with Chrome Enterprise Premium as a new security control, if you will. Organizations continue to benefit from the simple and effective data protections Chrome offers. In addition to controls like screenshot blocking and upload, download, and print controls, Chrome Enterprise Premium now offers data masking to redact display of sensitive data in the browser, and also new employee phishing protections using Google Safe Browsing. So basically, protecting against lookalike sites and portals attempting to capture corporate credentials. And so then I want to close our portfolio update to talk about one of the most important assets we have as a company, and that's the Mandiant consulting business. While Mandiant is best known as an incident response consultancy, we provide a full range of consulting services, from advisory, helping organizations before, during, after incidents. And so to engage Mandiant, the best way to do so is through the Mandiant retainer. And that gives you on-demand access to our expertise when you need it. Many Google Cloud customers have first experienced working with us through Mandiant. And we've recently added flexibility where you can use that retainer for any service Mandiant provides, which is pretty cool. Okay, so our capabilities and continued innovation are not only impacting private and public sector organizations, but are also being used to raise the bar at the national security level. To hear more, I'm pleased to announce and introduce His Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti, the head of cybersecurity for the United Arab Emirates.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here, and I'm really honored to be with you all today. I'm sure many of you have been to UAE. Anybody? Dubai? Abu Dhabi? Great. So, over the past decades, the UAE has been really in a fast-paced pursuit of the remarkables. UAE vision is really have been continuously trying to advance and adopt many of those great innovations. Our journey has been guided by a well-structured roadmap rooted in the forward-thinking leadership. Today, we continue that path with a clear vision of the future, driven by innovation, and as well as in 2025, we stand among the fastest and the most secure nation on the planet, not only in the physical security, but also in the virtual security. And this is ranked by the ITU and many of the United Nations entities who are actually really evaluating as well as measuring many of those ranks. This is a direct result of a great leadership, a long-term vision, as well as an impactful partnership with great partners like you all, and Google is one of those great partners. Most importantly, an unwavering commitment to those who matter most, and that's our goal, that's our passion, to serve the people. For us, it's all about those who we serve. The UAE journey is driven by a clear ambition to improve people's lives, to make every advancement, every innovation, and every bold idea meaningful, and bringing a brighter tomorrow. So we can achieve our vision of becoming the happiest, safest, and most dynamic economy by 2031. And yes, there are great competitiveness about those words, the happiest nation, the most economical nations, and many of those aspects, and we are greatly, proudly to be part of this. So the philosophy and what we drive are embedded in everything we do. Our national strategy chart of the path forward as follows. There is a great initiative called We the UAE 2031, which brings together unity, innovation, and leadership under one bold nation vision to become a global leader in all dimensions by 2031. Another one is the Centennial Plan 2071, and this prepares future generation by investing in education, economy, healthcare, and community well-being. Through our national AI strategy as well, we're integrating AI into every single sector. That's include education, healthcare, in aviation, as well as economy, to create a new opportunity and unlock efficiencies and open new horizons. Our net zero by 2050, as a matter of fact, is a commitment and placed about sustainability across many of the things that we do, and that is tied with innovation and development model. And all of this is protected by a digital shield. We are immensely proud of our national cybersecurity strategy, 2031. I'm sure you've heard great words from every speaker on the stage here, how much attacks are really perpetrated against us, against the infrastructures, against the community. And this is where we need this togetherness. This is where we need many of this great partnership in order to build that resiliency. What we did in our national cybersecurity strategy is to put those 5 pillars. One of them is to establish a cohesive governance, procedures, legislations, and many of those things that makes it easy for the entities, partners, SMEs, governments to work together. We as well deliver a resilient digital environment. That's by protecting and defending from many of those perpetrated attacks. We enable the secure adaptation of innovation, and UAE is very well known about this part, innovation and funding many of those research and development. Any bold ideas, we make it realistically happening across us all. And building a national cyber capability. That's from the people themselves, from the technology, or from the processes. And the most important pillar is fostering deep international collaboration. And that's what we do today with the government, with the partners, with the companies, with the people. It's a PPPP partnership, public-private people partnership. So our framework, learning, and systems are all shared publicly, so others can benefit and adopt from many of those aspects. Now, in the spirit of sharing, let me highlight some of those innovations driving our future. One of the most is our Crystal Ball, and this is a great homegrown AI-powered threat prediction platform. It uses data and AI to detect cyber anomalies and forecast emerging risks. It analyzes many of these aspects of attacks, patterns, and really predict what's coming before they become a threat and share it with our partners across the globe. And we have today more than 70 international partners, as a matter of fact. The second one is the Falcon LLM, is our open source large language model. It is fast becoming a key building block in the global AI ecosystem. Reliable, transparent, and building to serve. Then there is the Cyber Pulse, which is actually our national awareness program, which actually spread now across the region. It educates everyone from school, children, all the way to businesses in order to save from many of those cyber crimes, cyber terrorism, radicalizations, or even cyber warfare to our critical infrastructure, and how to stay safe in the digital world with digestible as well as shareable content designed around the real life moments. And the most important thing that we are actually working today about has been a key mission partner for us, Google. They started with us long time ago and actually continuing this path. A partnership that is really a model that we need to really not only cement in our relationship, but also build on top of that. And this what brings me to something that we are incredibly exciting about. We are building with Google the vision of articulating by the UAE leadership, which happened during the recent visit here 2 weeks ago. And I'm thrilled to announce a significant milestone in our strategic collaboration with Google Cloud. The UAE government has approved Google Cloud to launch a cutting-edge cybersecurity center of excellence in Abu Dhabi, the capital of UAE. It is becoming a hub for innovation, for training, for research, and for development, a place where experts from all around the world can not only serve academics as well as policymakers or engineers, and can become, as a matter of fact, together to build solutions for the community, solutions for the regions, and for the nation itself, and make a great real differences. A skilled cybersecurity workforce is essential for defending against complex threats. To address this need, the Cybersecurity Council endorsed training program will be delivered from the Center of Excellence by Mandiant. This program offers a unique opportunity within the UAE to learn directly from experts actively handling the world's most sophisticated cyber attacks. Mandiant's expert will lead immersive real-world training program grounded in the real-life attack scenarios and cyber breach simulation. This program will give our future defenders the mindset and tools to think like adversaries, respond with precision, and stop threats before they take place. With the great announcement that we've been hearing yesterday and today, I'm sure this will be a great strategic partnership that will serve not only UAE, but also the region. And this strategic initiative with Google will protect critical infrastructures, foster jobs creation, and attract global investment. Together, we are shaping cybersecurity model built on trust, talent, and transformation. Let me close by reaffirming that we are proudly, and we are so proud, as a matter of fact, of this strategic initiative. Excited about this perspective, and we are always open to big ideas and collaboration. With that, I thank you very much, and I'm honored to be here. And back to you, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Al-Kuwaiti. We look forward to our continued collaboration. So if Google Cloud can help transform a nation, just imagine what it can do for your organization. To help drive transformations like this, we don't do it alone. Cybersecurity is a team sport. And so critical to our team are all of our partners, our implementation partners in particular. And so we thank you to our partners. But in particular, I also want to call out the GSIs, Accenture and Deloitte, who have been with us from the beginning as really foundational partners to Google SecOps and Google Threat Intel and beyond. And so we're very excited to announce them as launch partners for Gus. And so thank you to Accenture and Deloitte. One more thing before we go. As many of you are aware, last month we signed a definitive agreement to acquire Wiz, a leading multi-cloud security platform to provide better cybersecurity alternatives for businesses and governments around the world. We're super excited about that future. Fingers crossed it closes fast. So as we wrap this year's Security Spotlight, I want to reflect on Google Cloud's incredible commitment and focus on securing our customers. Our mission is to secure our customers, and we're dedicated to that every day. We're incredibly excited to share the accomplishments of our product teams and honored to partner with our customers to achieve great security outcomes. And we hope we'll be able to show you today why you should make Google part of your security team. So you can get even more of the story and engage directly with our product leaders, customers and partners in the remaining security breakouts or down on the floor of the Security Hub. You can continue your learning journey through all those materials. But for now, and on behalf of all my co-presenters, thank you so much for your time today. Stay secure and enjoy the rest of Next. Thank you so much.